Welcome, beautiful soul. The angels are wrapping you in golden light right now, this very second. You are seen, you are loved, you are protected, and the message coming through today is one that your heart has been quietly waiting to hear for a very long time. Before you scroll away, before you let the busyness of the day pull you somewhere else, I need you to stay right here with me. Because what is about to be revealed in the next few minutes is not just another message floating by in the noise. This is a divine confirmation about a love that is already moving toward you, a union that has already been decided at the soul level, and a truth so powerful it is going to completely shift the way you see everything you have been going through. So take a breath, settle in, let your shoulders drop, and open your heart wide, because this one is for you and only you. Beloved one, the angels of heaven have gathered around you today with something truly extraordinary to share. And it begins with something that might stop you right in your tracks. Your soulmate is getting married. Wait, do not close your heart yet. Do not let that first wave of fear or confusion decide anything. Because the very next thing I am about to tell you is going to change absolutely everything. That marriage is with you. Yes, you, the beautiful soul reading these very words right now. The one who has been holding this love quietly, sometimes in hope and sometimes in doubt, sometimes in the middle of the night when the silence gets too loud and the heart gets too full. Your soulmate has already decided. Deep down inside, at the level of the soul where real decisions are made, this person already knows exactly who they want to build a life with. And that person is you. This message did not come to shake you or scare you. It came to wake something up inside you that has been waiting for permission to fully believe. It came to remind you that what you have been feeling has never been one-sided. That the love you have carried so carefully all this time has been felt on the other side too. Maybe not always expressed the way you needed, but felt deeply and truly. And this year, something sacred is about to step out of the invisible world and become something you can actually hold in your hands, live with your whole heart, and celebrate out loud. So do not let the doubts crowd in right now. Do not let past pain talk louder than this truth. Do not let the part of you that has been disappointed before decide what is happening here. Just breathe, stay open, and keep reading. Because every word from this point forward is going to bring you more clarity, more peace, and more faith in what is already unfolding all around you. Beloved one, there are things that settle quietly inside the heart before they ever become words. Feelings that grow in the silence between two people, in the space between the moments that were shared and the moments that were missed, in the invisible gap between what was said and what was always truly meant. And that is exactly where your soulmate has been living, not at the beginning of confusion anymore, but at the very end of it. The decision has already been made inside this person's heart. A quiet, solid, unshakable decision. And that decision has everything to do with you. This person has faced their fears. They have sat alone with the uncertainty and let it run its full course. They have questioned themselves, questioned the timing, questioned whether what they felt was real enough to build something lasting on. Something worth showing up for every single day. And through all of that questioning, one answer kept coming back. One name, one face, one feeling that simply would not go away no matter how hard life tried to distract them. Yours. Your soulmate has come to understand that what exists between the two of you is not some passing emotion born from nostalgia or loneliness or wishful thinking. It is a deep, rooted, fully chosen love. The kind that asks for a real life. The kind that wants more than just a connection felt in quiet, stolen moments. This person wants to live with you, to plan with you, to wake up and fall asleep knowing you are there. to show up for you every single day in the ordinary ways that make extraordinary love. There is a clarity inside this person right now that was not always there before. A kind of inner settling, like something that had been held in tension finally releasing into its natural place. And that clarity is creating a powerful, unstoppable pull forward. A genuine desire to stop waiting and start moving toward what they already know is meant to be. They want to introduce you to the people who matter most in their world. They want everyone close to them to know who it is that captured their heart and changed the way they understand love. They want a shared home, a shared future, a shared story that the two of you write together, slowly and intentionally, page by page and day by beautiful day. And none of this is being chosen out of loneliness or because of outside pressure, or because the options have run out. It is being chosen purely and completely because of what you are to this person. Because something true and rare lives between you. Something that was not built overnight and cannot be replicated with anyone else no matter how hard life tries to offer substitutes. You need to understand that this love took time to mature, and that time was not wasted. Every season of silence, every moment of wondering and waiting, every phase that felt like a setback was actually part of the sacred process that brought your soulmate to this place of absolute certainty, where they no longer want to keep this feeling locked safely inside, where they no longer want to love you only in the privacy of their thoughts and dreams. Now there is courage, now there is readiness, and now there is a deep, beautiful, quietly urgent desire to make this real, to take it out of the imaginary and bring it into the everyday, to stop dreaming about you and start actually reaching for you. Beloved one, have you ever tried to explain something you feel but could not quite find the words for it? That pull towards someone that makes no logical sense but feels completely undeniable? That invisible thread that seems to tie your heart to another person no matter how much time passes or how much physical distance gets between you? That is what exists between you and your soulmate. This connection was not created by accident. It was not born from convenience or circumstance or being in the right place at the right time. Something deeper brought the two of you together. Something that exists at the level of the soul, where the heart recognizes before the mind can even catch up and where understanding arrives not through reason but through feeling. How many times have you thought about this person without any clear reason? How many times have you felt something stir inside you out of nowhere? A familiar warmth, a quiet and unexplained knowing, a sudden wave of emotion with no obvious source. That is not your imagination running wild. That is the energy between you speaking. That is the invisible bond between your souls confirming that what you share is still very much alive and very much real. And here is what is so beautiful about that. Your soulmate has felt it too. Even in the moments when nothing was being said between you. Even when it seemed like life had moved you apart and created so much distance that the connection should have faded by now. This person also felt that pull. They also carried you in their heart in ways they could not always explain or justify or even fully understand. And that mutual energy, that invisible spiritual force between you, has been quietly at work this entire time, keeping the connection alive, tending to it like a flame protected from the wind, waiting for both hearts to be ready to finally meet it. You are not being drawn back into something ordinary. You are being called back to a love that was never truly broken. A love that stayed alive through everything because it still has something real and meaningful left to live. This force between you is both emotional and spiritual. When two souls are connected at this depth, circumstances may change and seasons may pass and life may throw 100 things between you. But the bond itself does not disappear. It waits, it deepens, it grows quieter on the surface but stronger underneath. And when the time is right, it makes itself known again in ways that simply cannot be denied or explained away. Your soulmate is at that place right now. The connection they feel for you is no longer something they are willing to push aside or rationalize away or keep quietly to themselves. It has grown too strong. It has become too clear. And now it is asking for action, for presence, for the kind of real, committed, everyday life that turns love into something lasting and lived. Do not be overwhelmed by the intensity of what you feel when you think about this connection. You are not imagining things. You are not feeling too much or wanting too much or hoping beyond what is reasonable. What you sense is real, because there is a greater divine purpose between the two of you that has been in motion since long before either of you fully understood it. And that purpose is finally, beautifully being activated. Beloved one, there comes a moment when the heart simply cannot keep waiting any longer. When what once lived quietly as a background feeling begins to press forward and demand to become something real. When the imaginary version of the love you want starts to feel unbearably insufficient compared to the actual lived version that is sitting right within reach. Your soulmate is at that exact moment right now. This person has been thinking about you, not just in passing or with mild curiosity, but deeply, tenderly, and with a kind of longing that has settled into their bones and refuses to be shaken loose. There are memories of you that this person holds onto like something precious. The way you spoke, the way you listened without needing to fill, every silence, the way you made them feel like they were truly seen rather than just looked at. Those details have not faded with time. They were absorbed into this person's heart and kept safe there. And they have been speaking quietly to your soulmate every time life gets still enough for them to hear their own thoughts clearly. There have been ordinary, everyday moments, a song on the radio, a familiar scent in the air, a street that holds a shared memory, a color or a season that ties itself to something you once experienced together. And in those moments, your soulmate has found themselves pulled straight back to you with an ache that feels more like recognition than sadness. This person has played out conversations with you in their mind, has pictured what it would feel like to share a regular Tuesday with you, the comfortable, unhurried kind of closeness that feels like finally arriving somewhere you have always been heading, has smiled alone, remembering something specific you once said or did, has wondered quietly and sincerely whether you still feel this too. And those thoughts have not grown smaller. They have grown stronger. What used to live as memory is now becoming intention. What used to be private imagination is now becoming a desire for real, visible, lived-out action. That is the shift that is happening inside your soulmate right now. Even as you read these words, even as life continues on the surface and no one watching from the outside would know how much is quietly changing underneath. Your soulmate is not thinking about you as someone from the past who lives safely in a closed chapter. They are thinking about you as someone they want written into every chapter still to come. And that changes everything. There is also a kind of tender regret sitting in this person's heart. Not the heavy kind that buries you, but the honest kind that teaches you and moves you forward. A gentle wish that certain moments had gone differently, certain words had been said sooner, certain chances had been taken before fear talked them out of it. But those feelings are not signs that the story is over. They are actually signs that your soulmate has grown, because you only truly regret the moments you let slip away when you finally understand their real value. And this person understands your value now in a way they may not have been fully ready to before. That understanding, that real internal growth, is what is making their desire to be with you stronger and more sincere with every single passing day. Beloved one, there are moments when the universe places a choice directly in front of us. Not as a demand and not as a test and not as some kind of cosmic pressure to perform correctly. simply as a gentle, patient, sacred invitation. An open door with the most beautiful light coming through it, waiting for you to decide whether you are ready to walk through. You have reached one of those moments. Your soulmate has already answered. This person has already moved through the doubt, moved through the fear, moved through every version of the story where they talked themselves out of this love, and arrived at a clear and courageous yes. They want to live this love story with you. They are ready to stop imagining and start building. Ready to stop protecting themselves from vulnerability and start offering it as the most honest and beautiful gift they have. But now there is a question hanging warmly and patiently in the air, full of everything that matters, waiting for only one answer. And that answer must come from you. Are you ready too? This is your invitation to step into the love that has been quietly holding your name this whole time. Not out of obligation and not because you have run out of other options, but out of true, fully conscious desire. Out of that deep, quiet knowing inside you, the one that has never fully released this connection even when your mind tried to convince your heart it was time to move on. Maybe there is still a layer of fear sitting in your chest. Maybe past experiences left behind wounds that make you want to be careful, to hesitate, to ask for more proof before you let yourself fully believe. That is completely understandable. Those protective instincts were born from real pain and they deserve to be honored, not pushed aside or shamed. But here is what needs to be said clearly and gently and with all the love in the universe behind it. The love that is calling your name right now is not the same as what hurt you before. This is not a love built on confusion or mixed signals or someone being unsure whether you fit into their plans. This is a love that has matured. A love that has been tested by time and questioned by life and chosen deliberately on the other side of all of it. A love that knows your worth and is preparing to show up with honesty, consistency, and real lasting commitment. The bond between you cannot survive on one side alone. Even when the connection is powerful and even when the love is genuine and real, a shared story only moves forward when both people are willing to walk in the same direction together. Your soulmate has stepped onto that path. The invitation is waiting for your response. You already know what lives in your heart. You have felt it even in the quiet moments when you tried to convince yourself it was gone. You have felt the pull. You have seen the signs, maybe not all of them clearly, but enough of them. You already know at the deepest level that this is not ordinary. Now it is time to let that knowing become a choice. A solid, free, fully conscious choice. Not made out of hope alone, but out of truth. The kind of choice that says, I want this too. I feel it too. I am here and I am ready and I am choosing this love with everything I have. Beloved one, some connections are not only emotional. They carry a spiritual weight, a sacred significance, a feeling that something far greater than two human hearts is at work. That two souls were guided toward each other for a reason that belongs to something larger than either of them could have planned or fully imagined. What exists between you and your soulmate holds exactly that kind of sacred energy. And because of that, blessings are already being prepared for the two of you. Even now, even before any of this is fully visible on the surface. Even as you sit here reading these words and wondering and hoping and feeling that familiar mixture of excitement and quiet disbelief, the universe is already working behind the scenes. Doors are opening that once felt sealed shut. Obstacles that once stood in the way of this love are beginning to lose their grip and quietly dissolve. The timing is shifting, aligning, arranging itself so that your union with your soulmate can come forward in the most natural and beautiful way. Not forced, not rushed, but flowing like water that has finally found its way back to where it belongs. When love is genuine and when two souls are truly meant to find each other, the world moves to support that. It is not fantasy magic. It is alignment. It is the natural law of what is true and meant being drawn toward itself through every available opening. You will begin to notice this in the everyday moments. An unexpected message that arrives with exactly the right timing. A conversation that opens something between you that had been quietly waiting to be opened. A small action that carries more meaning than 1,000 carefully planned words ever could. What once felt tangled will start to feel simple. What once felt out of reach will start to feel like it is already on its way. And none of it will feel accidental. Because it will not be. The blessings arriving for you are not only about the relationship itself. They include healing from old wounds that have been quietly keeping you from fully trusting love again. Freedom from fears that have been making it hard to receive without bracing for loss. Relief from the old stories about what you deserve and what is possible for you and whether a love this real even exists. Because it does exist, beloved one. It is here, and you deserve every single beautiful piece of it. True love does not only add to your life, it transforms it from the inside out. And that transformation is already beginning inside you and inside your soulmate quietly and surely, whether you can feel every part of it yet or not. You will notice life starting to feel lighter in the coming days. Not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect or because all challenges disappear overnight, but because something deep and central inside you settles into a peace it has been looking for. And peace is one of the clearest signs that you are exactly where you are meant to be and moving exactly in the direction your heart has always known was right. The presence of your soulmate in your life will feel steady and real and true. You will feel the honesty not just in what is said but in how they show up, in the consistency of their actions, in their willingness to be real with you rather than just impressive. That alone is one of the most meaningful blessings of all. To be chosen clearly, honestly, and with full awareness of who you are. Heaven celebrates when two souls who were made for each other finally say yes without reservation. And in that celebration, everything flows more freely. Clarity deepens. Protection strengthens around both of you. Faith is renewed. And love becomes not just a beautiful feeling but a living foundation that everything else in your shared life is built on top of. So trust, beautiful soul. Even when you cannot see the whole picture yet. Even when certain pieces are still finding their place. What is coming for you is real, and it is being carried gently and purposefully in your direction every single day. Beloved one, from the very first moment your soul connected with this love, there has been a presence walking beside you. Not always visible, not always loud or obvious or easy to recognize, but always there, holding the invisible thread between you and your soulmate. Watching over the connection with care, protecting the space between your hearts even when you could not feel it or see it or believe in it with any certainty. That presence has been there in the moments when fear got loud and faith got quiet. In the nights when doubt felt stronger than hope and you had to decide all over again whether you were going to keep believing in something you could not fully hold yet. In those moments, something quiet was breathing courage back into your intuition. A soft inner knowing that kept saying, stay open. Do not give up. It is closer than it looks. That same presence has been with your soulmate, walking with them through their own uncertainty, through the walls they built to protect a heart that has been hurt before, through the moments when they almost convinced themselves that letting go would be easier than holding on. And even in those moments, something kept pulling them back. Something they could not fully rationalize but also could not fully ignore or walk away from. That something is divine love doing exactly what it always does. Holding what is meant to be together until both hearts are finally ready to claim it. This divine protection is not passive or distant. It has been actively working, moving obstacles that had no right to stand between you, strengthening the courage in both of your hearts at precisely the moments when it was needed most. Because where there is true love and real divine purpose, heaven does not simply observe from a safe distance. Heaven walks right alongside you through every single part of it. But divine protection working on your behalf does not remove your own beautiful responsibility to tend to what is being given to you. The love between you also needs your active participation. It needs your faith, your willingness to stay open even when fear knocks at the door, your readiness to receive what is being offered without pushing it away with old doubts or old wounds that belong to chapters you have already moved beyond. You are not walking through any of this alone, beloved one. You are being guided and supported and held in love every single step of the way. But the energy of this connection must be tended to like something precious and worth protecting. It must be fed with belief and trust and the simple, powerful daily act of choosing to remain open to what is coming toward you. When fear arrives, because it will, because that is simply part of being human and daring to love with your whole heart, do not let it take the wheel. Acknowledge it gently, let it pass through without letting it make any decisions. And then return to what you know in the deepest place inside you is true. Ask for guidance. Ask for a clear and undeniable sign. And then pay close attention, because heaven is always listening and always answering in ways that speak directly to the heart. This love was placed under divine protection until the right moment arrived. And the right moment is now. Everything is ready. Everything is aligned. And the sacred mission of love between you and your soulmate does not end here but continues through the entire journey you are about to begin building together. Because this love was not made to last for just a season. It was made to last a lifetime. And every step forward from this moment is being guided, guarded, and held in the warmest and most steadfast light there is. Beloved one, we are arriving now at the part of this message where your heart no longer needs to keep asking if this is really happening. Because it is. It is happening. And the certainty of it lives not just in these words but in the quiet knowing that has been sitting inside you all along, through every season of doubt and every moment of genuine faith, waiting patiently for the moment when everything would finally come together in a way that made perfect sense. Your soulmate is preparing to move, to take real, visible, life-changing steps toward the union that was decided at the soul level long before either of you fully understood what you were to each other. This is not just a feeling drifting through the air anymore. This is a decision becoming action, an intention becoming real presence. A love that has been kept carefully inside for too long finally finding the courage to step out into the open and be fully, joyfully lived. This marriage is not the beginning of something brand new. It is the blossoming of something that has been quietly and patiently growing for a very long time. Since the first real connection. Since all those feelings that were felt but not always spoken out loud. Since every moment the two of you carried each other in your hearts without the other person even knowing it was happening. All of it, every bit of it, has been building toward this. Your soulmate's heart is made up completely. There is no more confusion sitting in the center of it. No more hesitation holding everything at a cautious distance. There is a deep, clear recognition in this person that what you share is rare. That it is real, that it is strong enough and solid enough and true enough to serve as the foundation of a whole lifetime together. You will feel the shift when it comes. It will arrive in the energy between you before it arrives in words. You will sense a new kind of clarity and purpose in this person, a different quality of presence, a way of showing up that makes everything feel more honest and more grounded than it ever has before. This is not another cautious, half-hearted attempt. This is a wholehearted, fully conscious, fully chosen step being taken directly toward you with nothing held back. The pieces are falling into place. What once felt stuck is beginning to move. What once felt impossible is revealing itself as completely possible and right on time. And when you least expect it, in some ordinary, unremarkable moment, you will look around and realize that everything has aligned in the most quietly miraculous way. But here is something the angels want you to hold close in your heart. This certainty from your soulmate is also a call for your own readiness. You have been chosen. That is settled and sacred and true. But now you are also being called to choose, to say yes with your whole heart, to release the grip of anything that has been holding you back, and to make full open space in your life and your energy for what is arriving. Do not let the shadow of old doubt linger in the background and quietly undermine what is about to bloom. The love between you is mutual. It is real. It is protected by forces that want nothing more than to see the two of you truly and fully happy. And it is asking both of you to show up completely, honestly, with open hands and open hearts. What is being built here will not be fragile or uncertain or difficult to sustain. It will be steady, nourishing, and lasting. A love that shows itself in the small things just as much as in the grand and obvious ones. In the way two people who have genuinely chosen each other create safety for each other simply by being present and consistent and true every single day. A union where two souls walk through life as real partners. Not just in the beautiful seasons but through all of it. Together, with full trust in the love that brought them here and deep faith in the purpose that keeps them together. That path begins right now, beloved one. You have already been chosen. And now it is your turn to choose as well. The time has come. The blessing has been released from heaven with your name written on it. What was once only hoped for and quietly dreamed about in the private hours is now ready to be fully and completely lived out loud. This is not a maybe sitting somewhere in a distant possible future. This is a certainty. This is real. And it is moving toward you with every single breath you take. Beloved one, as we arrive at the close of this divine message, the angels ask you to hold everything you have received here gently but firmly close to your heart. Not as a wish you are afraid to believe in too much. Not as a dream that might be too good to be true, but as truth, as confirmation, as the clearest and most loving yes that heaven knows how to send. You have waited through seasons that felt endless. You have hoped when hoping felt almost foolish. You have sometimes doubted and sometimes believed and sometimes found a way to hold both at once. You have carried this love through long stretches of silence and wondering and asking the universe whether any of it was ever truly going to become real in your life. And now the answer is arriving. The love you gave without guarantees. The love you held on to without certainty. The love you kept alive in the quietest and most private places of your heart, even when no one else could see it or understand it. All of that is coming back to you now. In the form of maturity. In the form of real commitment. In the form of someone who has done the inner work, faced their fears honestly, chosen you clearly with full eyes and a full heart, and is ready to walk toward you without looking back. Keep these words with you in the days ahead. And when things begin to shift around you, when conversations deepen and connections strengthen and the signs begin arriving in ways you cannot explain away, remember this moment. Remember that you were prepared. Remember that heaven saw what was coming and sent this message ahead of time so that when it arrived, your heart would already know. Your heart would already be open and ready to say yes to everything it has always wanted. You are loved beyond measure, beautiful soul. You are held in the light of angels every single day. You are guided by a love so vast and so consistent that even your darkest and most difficult doubts have never once been able to dim it. And you are never, not for a single second of any day or night, walking through any of this alone. The union is real, the love is true, and everything you have been quietly, faithfully believing in through all the seasons of waiting and hoping and refusing to give up on what your heart knows is about to show itself in the most beautiful, tangible, and lasting way imaginable. With infinite love and divine light. Amen.